home. It's in-game live prime time on a spectacular Saturday afternoon. Scott Wetzel, Joe Madden for the next 4 glorious hours as we take you right up until 8 p.m. Eastern time, watching and, more importantly, betting on the world of sports. Baseball, golf, WNBA, UFC tonight. We got it all, Joe, so it should be a busy and hopefully profitable 4 hours. All right, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Scott. We've got some great games in progress already cashed with the Yerfy between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Chicago White Sox. How did I forget who they were playing today? It's a 3-1 game right now for the Pirates in this one. And we just saw the Tigers tied up with the Dodgers. Who would have thought they would have come back at the bottom of the ninth there? That is crazy. 9-9 game, everything locked up. How's your day going so far?
Not bad. If I can get Pittsburgh, that's nice. But I didn't have the Dodgers. I'm staying away from them. They're just too inconsistent. I did have them yesterday, but I wasn't going to follow up today. And the fact that they blew a 5-run ninth-inning lead, with most of that damage coming with 2 out, that would be a horrible loss. Just a horrible loss if you bet the Dodgers today. So did bet the Pirates because one of our favorite whipping boys was on the hill for the White Sox, Chris Flexen. White Sox 2-15. In his 17 starts this year, but he actually pitched fairly well. White Sox were tied 1-1 when he left, or at least it was 1-1 anyway, 7th inning, before Pittsburgh, just as you mentioned, scored 2 runs. So not bad. So far, so good, but most of the action is either going to get underway in the next 10 minutes or so, or later on tonight. So why don't we hop right to it with the first of many little things we like to do here on a Saturday, little SGP time. Let's start off the day with our first same-game parlay. Who knows, we may throw a couple of more at you before everything is said and done. We're going to go out to Cincinnati where the Reds hosting the pathetic Miami Marlins. We're going to use 5 legs to this. It's going to pay almost 7-1, just over 6.5 or so to 1, depending on where you do your shopping. We'll start with Cincinnati at home, minus 166 against Miami. Game gets underway, like I said, about 8 minutes or so. We're going to use the Reds to win the game. We're going to use Reds over 4.5 runs. Looked it up in their 46 wins this year. The Reds have scored 5 runs or more, 33 of those 46 wins. So chances are pretty good, especially against the Marlins. If they win, they're going to get 5 runs. We're going to go on the other side of the diamond. We're going to use Edward Cabrera to get 6 strikeouts or more for Miami. He's not a big strikeout pitcher, but decent amount. And the Reds have 2 of the top 4 players in strikeouts, De La Cruz and Will Benson. 1 and 4. So, those guys alone are probably good for 3 conservatively. So I'm hoping he gets at least 3 more. Then we're going to go back to the Red side, Joe. We're going to use De La Cruz, 2+ bases or more, plus 110. He's got hits in 7 of his last 17 at-bats. He's been on fire. No reason to think against Miami he's not going to get at least a double or 2 singles or a home run or a triple or what have you. And then we're going to use De La Cruz to score a run, minus 170. He's got 15 runs in his last 19 games. He's been on fire, batting at the top of the order. Again, it's against Miami. They're good for 5-6 runs. So add it all together, plus 667 you see on your screen. Again, depending on where you do your shopping. I put these numbers in on FanDuel earlier today. What do you think?
I love it, especially that leg of Elly De La Cruz, 2+ total bases in this one at plus 110. He's so good at stealing those bases, and I think he could have a home run in this one as well, Scott. So that's my favorite leg of this. I did take Andrew Abbott. You didn't touch him for his strikeouts in this one?
I didn't.
Yeah, his number coming in at 5.5. When we look at him versus teams that are struggling offensively, we've actually seen him be able to convert those strikeouts. So it's coming in at plus 100 if you guys want to put a bet in on this game outside of Scott's parlay. I think it's a nice way to go. You look at him versus the Rockies. He was able to get 10 strikeouts on them. He has struggled against hotter offenses, but the Miami Marlins are striking out at 22% versus left-handed pitching. So I do think he should be in play today as well. But I love what you've got going on in this game. What did that pay again, Scott?
That pays $667. And I will say this also. He's a lefty, Abbott, which is another reason. Not that you need that many more, but one more reason to go against the Miami Marlins. Because it really, if you want one play, forget the same game parlay and all that mumbo jumbo, Joe, which I love. But It's Cincinnati today. They got a left-handed pitcher. Miami is 6-27 in 33 starts against left-handed pitching this year. 6-27, and Abbott is 3-0 with an ERA of under 1.5 in his last 3 starts. So he's on fire. Reds are winning. Miami stinks, and they especially stink against left-handed pitching. So, watch Miami win. 7-3 today. They blow it all up, but it really shouldn't. It really should not. Like if Cincinnati wins today, Joe, this goes back to what I say all the time. When things that are supposed to happen, gambling is easy. Like Cincinnati is knowing what we just said, Cincinnati is supposed to win today. It's almost impossible to think that you like Miami in this game, but that doesn't mean they actually won't win. So.
Well, it's the Reds all day. And my correction, it was Abbott. He had 10 strikeouts versus the Boston Red Sox. It was the Rockies. He had 8 strikeouts. So his number of 5.5 plus 100 to the over. And you're right. Miami versus lefties, you just automatically fade them in these situations, Scott. So it's the Reds all day long. Could they cover the run line here, Scott? What do you think? Lay 1.5 with them as well?
Not a bad bet. Not a bad bet to lay the 1.5. Yeah, it wouldn't be that bad. I'm surprised the number's halfway decent, 160 or so. But I would have no problems laying the 1.5. Got a few strikeout props from games that are going to be starting here in just a couple of minutes, Joe. I didn't put it in the same game parlay, but I did label him as one of my guys, Abbott, over 5.5, like you said, getting odds. I'll take that against the Miami Marlins. Love over 5.5 Seth Lugo for the Boston Red Sox, who are an absolute strikeout machine. Even when they win, the Red Sox strike out, so I got no problem with that. Tyler Phillips over 4.5 for Philadelphia. That game also just getting underway. We're going to use Abbott. We're going to use Cabrera. Obviously, we used him in the same game parlay. We're going to use under Nathan Eovaldi for Texas, only because Houston is the number one, them in Toronto, the least strikeouts in all of baseball. So under 5.5 Eovaldi. And then we got one later on that we'll get to in the Angel game later today. But those 5, over Lugo, Kansas City, Phillips, Philadelphia, Abbott, Cincinnati, Cabrera, Miami, and then under Eovaldi.
Okay, did you look at a sneaky one here? Grayson Rodriguez to the under 5.5 strikeouts. I know how phenomenally hot he has been. His strikeout rate is 25.6%, but he can't get strikeouts on the Yankees. We've seen him struggle to go over his number versus the Yankees, and I think even though he comes out strong in this one today, Scott, I've taken him under 5.5 strikeouts. It's going to come so tight. I think he does get 5 strikeouts in this one for the Baltimore Orioles. But it's coming in at plus 126. I think it's worth it here. He only struck out 3 batters back in June. He went 5 2/3 innings. 3 batters only. He was solid, but he can't get these strikeouts on the Yankees. Have you looked at that one at all?
No. I generally, not saying it's a bad bet, but I generally look at, I start with teams that strike out a lot and teams that don't strike out a lot. And then I kind of look at the numbers that they gave those respective pitchers. And if they're good, then I'll just play them and I'll stop. Because, you can't play 7, 8, or 9. Although I suppose you could. But, I try and limit myself to about 6 or 7, right? So today, all the numbers were halfway decent against, the major strikeout teams, Oakland, Boston, Seattle, and then the least strikeout teams, Toronto, Texas. So all the numbers for those respective pitchers were pretty good. So I didn't get down to Grayson Rodriguez. So, and then you had that brawl or semi-brawl, not really a brawl, but benches clearing incident last night. That kind of throws things into a whack. So, but not bad. I would, I don't play too many unders, but you want to go under Rodriguez? No problem with that. That game starts also in a couple minutes. So, all right, just getting underway. We'll get to Joe's same game parlay next.
The WNBA is a unique market, right? It moves a little bit different. You take a bet, a limit play, even if the limit is 2 dimes on the side, you don't go from 11.5 to 12. You know what I mean? You got to go. Because if they bet you the second number, then you go, oh boy, now we have a decision that we really didn't think we got a big decision. Books love decisions.
Game time decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on Sports Grid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. But that's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the Grid. Just getting underway. Hour number one of our 4-hour extravaganza. Don't forget to send a tweet along our way to Joe and myself. And in between breaks, we'll get a chance to look at those and then answer those or maybe even mention those on the air. Who knows? So I had my same game parlay because the game did start in a couple of minutes. We were to kind of jam all that stuff in there. But Joe's got a same game parlay that starts in a little while. So time for her to take center stage and give us her SGP.
Okay, you guys, I'm looking at the matchup tonight between the Atlanta Braves and the San Diego Padres. Now, this one not kicking off to 7:15 Eastern, and a smaller parlay here. 3 legs in this one. We have Lopez coming out here for the Atlanta Braves, and he doesn't stay long in games, but I do think he can come out successful to start this game for the Atlanta Braves. And we look at Dylan Cease here for the San Diego Padres. He's been absolutely phenomenal. His ability to get those strikeouts is second to none. His strikeout prop today is 7.5. And that will be the first leg of my parlay at -102. I do think he can go over this number. We look at him. He's been able to go over this in 3 of his last 4. And the one game that he didn't, he only came out for 3.2 innings. So I'm expecting him to get at least 8 strikeouts. I do think this is one you could ladder up outside of the parlay, as I feel like he could get double digits here, even though it is the Atlanta Braves. I'm then going to look here at the first 5. Like I said, I trust in Lopez, even though I don't think he's going to go into that 6th inning. I trust in him to be in the first 5. And limit the bats of the San Diego Padres. We know the Padres offense really hasn't been clicking at a high level as of late. They've been showing those struggles. And then with what Dylan Cease is going to do here to the Braves bats, I do think that first 5 under 3.5 coming in at +100 is a really solid way to go. And then because I'm liking the under 3.5, I'm expecting the pitchers to come out strong in that first inning and for us to be able to hit that NRFI. The books think so too. The NRFI is juiced at -146. So when we put all 3 of these legs together, Dylan Cease over 7.5 strikeouts, the under 3.5 runs in the first 5 innings, and the NRFI no runs in the first inning, that's coming in at +321. So not as much value as your parlay, Scott, but what do you think of this one?
Not bad. All right. I see it. Cease due for a big game, right? Atlanta's bats, relatively quiet. And Strellenbach kid has actually pitched fairly well his last couple of times out after starting his season. Just pitching awful. But he's actually settled in. So, all right. And if you're going to go, like you said, if you're going to go under 3.5 runs first 5, chances are that you won't get a run in the first inning. So that kind of correlates with each other. So not bad. You didn't pick a side, though. You didn't want to go Braves or Padres? No confidence in picking a team to win?
Well, I think Padres are going to get it done, but it wasn't giving me enough value there for the Padres. And I talked about how their offense has had those struggles. If the Braves end up hitting the bullpen here of the Padres in this one, I just don't want to have a side in on this game. I feel stronger about both of these pitchers coming out strong to start this game and the under 7.5 for the full game than I do about picking a side in this one, especially with how Lopez, he just doesn't go deep enough into these games, and the books know it. His outs today, Scott, I wanted to throw that in somehow. They wouldn't let me put it in the same game parlay, but under 17.5 outs, the books have it at minus 164. So they're not expecting him to stay long either. So I just need him to get into that fifth inning for us to keep this a lower scoring one, and hopefully we don't allow those runs by the bullpen, keeping us under 7.5 for the full game that I bet outside of the parlay as well.
All right, not bad, not bad. I tell you one thing I have noticed doing these shows and having different guests on, whether it's during the week or on weekends and stuff, is the first five, Joe, is becoming more and more popular. And it makes sense. You know, how many times can you get burned by having your pitcher do well and come out after 5 innings or 6 innings and the bullpen comes in and implodes, i.e. New York Mets, who nearly blew a 7-2 lead last time. Watching that game, the Mets bullpen just sucks. Oh, my goodness. You talk about getting agita. But, how many times can that happen before you say, you know what, forget about it. I'm not going to play the whole game. Why bother? You know, I'm betting the game based on the starting pitcher. Most starting pitchers only go 5, every once in a while 6, maybe 7, right? So I have noticed that, guys that come on and give their picks, it's a lot more first 5 than I've ever seen before.
Now, I got to ask you another question, too, here. We're seeing Lopez. He's going to be in the All-Star game. Do you think that changes the strategy around him coming out today? We will see even more limited than normal pitch count here for him with him being part of the All-Star game, Scott. Is that something you've noticed in past years?
Not really. That's not a bad question. I haven't really noticed it. I know guys that pitch tomorrow don't pitch on Tuesday. They get yanked, so they get replaced. But guys that pitch today, Saturday, they generally are available. Would the Braves in this case, go soft on him and pull him out after 5 versus 6? Because, on paper, you would automatically say, no, the Braves don't care about the All-Star game, right? They're trying to catch Philadelphia. They're trying to make the postseason, right? So they're not going to change their philosophy. But, if in the back of your mind you worry about that pitcher pitching 3 days from now, then you actually might say, you know what, let's only pitch him 5 innings, or let's only throw him 80 pitches because we don't want to take any risk, with him throwing, 15 or 20 3 days from now, and that kind of screws things up. So not a bad philosophy, to think that you might, maybe not go over strikeout totals, stuff like that, if you don't think the guy is going to go as long as he normally would. So,
well, we'll see here tonight, Scott, if they pull him really early. And who was it last week? We were sitting here last Saturday. Someone was playing absolutely phenomenal, and they yanked him. He hadn't gone over his outs. They hadn't gone over his strikeouts. Nothing was wrong. I can't remember who that was. It will come to me, though. Right? Frustrating.
I remember he was throwing either shutout ball for like 75 pitches, something goofy. I know. The Red Sox did it Sunday night. We weren't on the air, but they did it with Cutter Crawford. Guys throwing great ball against the Stankies. He only threw like 70-plus pitches, and they took him out after 6 or 7, whatever it was. Now, they won the game, no big deal, but it's just like you scratch your head sometimes, like, what are you doing? Just let the guy pitch. But,
absolutely. Because our guy last week wasn't even able to record the win, and I think the team went on to win it, but he only came out 4 innings. So
they pulled him after 4-2-3. I forget who it was. I forget who it was, but they pulled him. Unbelievable. So, all right, some games are underway. We got some scores coming in. We'll check when we come back.
The W unique market, right? It moves a little bit different. You take a bet, a limit play, even if the limit is 2 dimes on a side, you don't go from 11.5 to 12. You know what I mean? You got to go. Got to go. Because if they bet you the second number, then you go, oh boy, now we have a decision that we really didn't think we got a big decision. Books love decisions.
Game time decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on Sports Grid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. That's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line. Only on Sports Grid.
Welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the Grid. Hour number one of our 4-hour extravaganza. Scott Wetzel, Joe Madden, until 8 p.m. Eastern time. Looking at some baseball. We got one WNBA game also underway. Got a big card of the UFC. Got a little golf that we'll get to. So we'll check it all out over the next 3+ hours or so. Games that are in progress, Joe. The earlier games, Pittsburgh still holding on to a 3-1 lead over the White Sox. That's good. Aroldis Chapman in. You always got to worry about that. First of two, Cardinals blowing out the Cubbies 11-2. That's basically unbettable. In the new game that just started, Stankies with 4 runs on the board against Grayson Rodriguez. Wow. Didn't see that one coming. 4-0 Stanks head into the bottom of the first. I mentioned, before the game started, Rodriguez has been pitching great. 3-0, an ERA of 1.47 his last 3 starts, and he got crushed today. So, any chance he didn't start today and my bet didn't count? No.
He did. And you know what? This is the first time ever versus the Yankees that he's allowed an earned run, let alone 4. And at the top here for the Yankees to put 4 runs, so that killed my Nerfy. I was playing the Nerfy in this at -111, but I'm feeling pretty good about my Yankees at +114. I couldn't say no to this team with their power that they have on this team here versus the Orioles. I just think they're the better team, Scott. I know you don't love the Yankees, but who do you think's the better team here?
The way the Yanks are playing, I mean, both teams are scuffling. So really, I can't even go to that route. I'll take the Orioles. Well, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, give them the Orioles. They're unproven, but what have the Yanks won lately, right? They have nothing in the last decade. So, but I can see where you think ultimately they're the better team. They got more star power. That's for darn sure, right?
Yeah.
I'm always a little leery of betting games in which they had bench clearing incidents like they did last night. Like, that was a pretty good one. No real punches thrown, but that was a halfway decent one. I'll never understand, Joe. It's just a pet peeve of mine. I've been on this soapbox before, right? So I don't know if you saw it or not. So an Oriole gets hit in the head, dangerous situation. Things seemingly calm, right? And then the manager for the Orioles gets into it with the Stanky dugout. Yankee dugout comes out. Oriole dugout comes out. Now all of a sudden, all the pitchers from the bullpens, both bullpens, they're running from the outfield into the infield, getting this whole big possible melee. And I don't know if anyone got suspended. I don't know how that's possible. Some poor guy gets hit in the head. Pitcher doesn't even get thrown out of the game. And you got both benches, empty and no one. There's no other sport that I know of that allows their players to leave their respective area, whether it's a sideline or a bench, and get involved with something, and no one gets suspended. I don't. Baseball
it's
wants
only
this stuff.
baseball.
There's no two ways
right?
about it. They want it. They encourage it.
Well, because think about it, Scott, the numbers of people watching baseball, it's really dwindling out there, right?
Yeah.
So it causes some excitement. It makes some great highlight clips, but that was terrible. And that was a mistake yesterday. There is no way any pitcher means to hit someone in the head with that ball.
No. Yeah.
So yeah, that was brutal. When I looked at the Yankees here, it was more a price as well, Scott, because I looked at these two teams and they're really comparable at the end of the day. But you're right. The Yankees have more star power on it, but I love Gunnar Henderson and what the Orioles have been able to do with him. They've got some big playmakers, but did you think the Orioles deserve to be such a big favorite? With Grayson Rodriguez versus Gil, these pitchers are so similar. I expected it to be a pick'em as well going into this. So I looked at the Yankees. To me, they got the star power. I like their abilities in their bullpen as well. So I had to take them at plus 114. Did you think, or would you have taken the Yankees if they were more value here? Or was it just you think Baltimore's better?
No, I didn't. I didn't play really Baltimore, so it was just kind of like I played the under. Well, I did. I shouldn't say that. I put the under in with Baltimore. I thought Grayson Allen, if Grayson Rodriguez pitched well, that New Orleans would win. It was more of an underplay, and if I'm going to put the under in, I might as well put Baltimore in because I'm thinking the Orioles are going to score some runs against Heel. So I kind of did bet Baltimore. I mean, I did officially, but my initial thought was under 8.5. So that doesn't look too good. It kind of reminds me of the Dodgers yesterday. I played the Dodgers yesterday. They were getting odds at Detroit. Yeah. And I know they had a nobody pitching, but listen, you want to give me odds with the Dodgers, against the Detroit Tigers? I don't care if Mr. Magoo's on the hill. I'll take that any day of the week. So,
Scott, thank you. You gave me that bet yesterday. You gave me that bet. I heard you in my head as soon as I saw the Dodgers with that plus money, and I bet that because I heard you.
See that? There you go. There you go. Jeff Dawson joins us next here on The Grid.
The WNBA is a unique market, right? It moves a little bit different. You take a bet, a limit play, even if the limit is 2 dimes on a side, you don't go from 11.5 to 12. You know what I mean? You got to go. Got to go. Because if they bet you the second number, then you go, oh boy, now we have a decision that we really didn't think we got a big decision. Books love decisions.
Game time decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on Sports Grid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. That's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line. Only on Sports Grid.
welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the Grid. Looking at some baseball games as a number of them are underway. A few more will get underway in a couple of hours. Let's talk a little baseball with one of our main guys, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, joins us here on the Grid. What's going on, Jeff? How are you this afternoon?
Happy Saturday, everyone. Glad to be here, guys.
Yeah, glad to have you here. We've got so many games that are starting right away and a couple in action. You see the Tigers come back against the Dodgers. What do you think of that one?
I wish I was on the Tigers when they were down 9-3 at this point. Long way to go, but this is a tough weekend. It's All-Star break right around the corner, and you get into the final weekend, the final situation. Here they're playing today, and then tomorrow some of them already have their bags packed, ready for a 3-4 day weekend if they're not going to the All-Star game. A lot of bullpens and arms are taxed. Just get us through this weekend. Obvious here with the Dodgers here. Big lead. I'd hate to have been holding a Dodger ticket up early. Now it's sweat time.
Any games, Jack, that are underway? Like I said, Joe mentioned within the last 15, 20 minutes, there's been a bevy of them. So we'll start there before we touch on the games that have yet to start. What'd you like this afternoon?
We gave out I was going to say the Twins. Rangers team total over 4.5. We got them plus 110 against the Astros. Looking at the numbers, the over-under, I think if I'm correct, was 9. I'm getting the plus money here on the Rangers, get 27 outs. They scored 1 in the first. It looks like Houston's tied it up now 1-1. So, first 1 to 5 or 6 looks good on that one there. Stayed away from the rest of them until the later games tonight. Had some good success late last night with the Diamondbacks coming back from down 4-2 to tie it 4-4 and to get that 5-4 win. I was on earlier last night with Dave and Dane. It was almost like I had Biff's Almanac. I said, first 1 to 5 wins this, and Diamondbacks team total over 4.5, and presto magic 5-4 D-backs over Joe's Jays. I apologize, Joe.
You know what? I take any opportunity I can to bet against my Toronto Blue Jays because it's been a moneymaker this season if you're betting against them, hasn't it, Jeff?
It has. And I was surprised. I thought Toronto had the pitching edge yesterday, and I was surprised. We've been fading Nelson a lot here at ECSI, and to have him minus 125, 127 overnight, even though he closed at 115, that was a surprise. But the real surprise is tonight here, Berrios versus Diaz, overnight minus 130, as high as now 135. I'm having a hard time wrapping myself around that number, Joe. And I'm going to follow Vegas's lead here. I really am. We have Arizona minus the 131 with Diaz. And then we also have their team total over 4.5 again. Would we get that at? We got that at plus 100 as well. First 1 to 5. I think this is going to be a fun game. I think both teams are going to be able to score. And I think it honestly gets over the 9, to be honest with you.
So you didn't fall, Jeff, into the trap as I did, and I do all the time, in that Philadelphia loses to god-awful Oakland last night as monster favorites, right? I had them last night, laid the run and a half. And I went right back with them today, even though they got a nobody on the hill, just thinking there's no way the Phillies are losing twice at home to Oakland. But I noticed you didn't mention Philadelphia in your pick, so kudos to you, I suppose. Although the Phillies aren't leading 2-1, but why not right on Philadelphia today?
The same reason, I don't mind being early. I hate being late to the party. And I think we've talked for a while now. This Phillies team is one of the teams in the MLB that is just dying to get through tomorrow. They've always been a second half team. And this year they've had a great first half. They got Schwarber and Harper back finally. They'll get a couple games under their belt to go to the All-Star game. Everyone back on on Friday. So I kind of stayed away. We had success on game 1 and 3 with the Red Sox against Oakland and their team total. So I stayed away. But Scott, I feel your pain because last night we were on the number made 0 sense to us. We were on the Cardinals against the Cubs, and they couldn't hit a gap shot standing on second with a tee. And of course, today they scored 9 in the first. I mean, so I didn't go back to them. So,
and 9 runs in the first. That was absolutely insane, that first inning there. Talking about a team that was able to put up a lot of runs on Thursday, that was the Seattle Mariners with 11 runs versus LA Angels. They did lose yesterday in a tight one. The Angels, I believe, won that one 6-5. Now, George Kirby getting the start for the Seattle Mariners today. Do you have faith in him here to come out strong? And do you have faith in the Seattle Mariners to continue to be able to get the runs on the board today?
They got great starting pitching, Joe. The problem with them is their consistency in offense. It's Julio Rodriguez. And actually, Cal Raleigh has been on fire. We had his home run prop yesterday. We'd like him to get a home run again today. We've been playing over 1.5 bases with Cal. So go, Cal, go. I think the Astros will pass them come second half. I think the Astros will find a way to win the division. Tonight, if I was to play Kirby, I don't trust them full game. I don't like laying the 140, 145. I would take a shot with Seattle minus the half run in the first 5. You can get that probably at around even money, maybe minus 105 or something like that. But full game, no mas. I'm going to take my edge with Kirby and pray.
What's the thinking? You're up in the Massachusetts, New England area with the Red Sox. They had that great run, but, I know the pitching matchup has not been good for them, but the bottom line is they're 2-2 in 4 games with Oakland and Kansas City. It sounds silly to say, but, Jeff, I got these next 2 games, today and tomorrow, they can't go into the All-Star break going 3-3 against Oakland and Kansas City at home, both those series. It's no score today in the second inning.
No, I agree. I left Kansas City on the desk yesterday because Raggins was posted. We had no idea who was pitching, and they gave me a call. I couldn't get up to Fenway quick enough, so they ended up with Griswold on the hill, and Royals boxed the wire. The Royals are right there. And here's what I'm going to say, Scott and Joe, is the last 2 years the Red Sox have been in the same spot, and they haven't bought. I got a scary feeling that they might sell like Kelly Jansen.
Really?
It's kind of a payroll cut. Maybe add a couple small pieces. I just don't have that feeling. It's a fun team, and we're excited here. We're in the second wild card currently, only 3 games back of the Stankies, as you would say. But we need a boost here, and I'm hoping they do something. The locals here are not feeling comfortable with the thought process that they will add a bat. They need a right-handed bat. We'd love to have J.D. Martinez back, and we could use another arm as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Was there any other props that you were playing today? Any home run props that you were looking at? Any other strikeout props?
No, but I'm going to give you a bonus here for the Canadian Football League. We've had success here, Joe, in the Canadian Football League.
Love it.
And we're going to take Saskatchewan team total over 21.5. We got that at plus 105. They're at BC today. It's supposed to be a pretty high-scoring game. I know a lot of people on social media are on the BC Lions. I think they're favored around by 7 right now. We have this rate around 28, 24. I just want them to get to 22, 23, and then we can celebrate and enjoy the game. Like last night's game was amazing to watch. That was a fun game to watch.
But we've been doing a pretty good job here doing CFL over on props with the quarterback. So hopefully that continues tonight. So, Jeff, great job as always. Appreciate it. And we'll do it again soon. Jeff Dawson from East Coast Sports Investors. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
The WNBA is a unique market, right? It moves a little bit different. You take a bet, a limit play, even if the limit is 2 dimes on the side, you don't go from 11.5 to 12. You know what I mean? You got to go. Because if they bet you the second number, then you go, oh boy, now we have a decision that we really didn't think we got a big decision. Books love decisions.
Game time decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on Sports Grid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. That's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line. Only on Sports Grid.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the Grid. Scott Wetzel and Joe Ben. Thanks again to Jeff Dawson from East Coast Sports Investors, who I think at least one time I called him Jack and then John and then Jim. And then there's something about Jeff. It just, I don't know why it just doesn't stay in my head. But thanks, Joe, or Jack, or Jim, or Jeff.
Too many J's, Scott. Sports. Too many J's around here, right?
Too many. Yeah.
It really is.
We got to well, every time I change his name, we should have like a bell. You know, we have the goal horn. We should have like a little ding and make a little check mark on top there, just keeping track. So,
and we can all bet the over or under next time, right? We can have a prop for this next week.
So would be the
Love it.
He did. I didn't realize he was the CFL guy. Clearly he is. But and we have a game tonight, right, Joe? 7:00 kickoff. Yeah. British Columbia, BC against Saskatchewan. You know, we can touch on that for a second here. Sounds like though he's on the opposite side of what you like, right?
He is, and I hate this because I so respect Jeff and everything that he brings to the table. He absolutely crushes it out there, but I look at the BC Lions with Vernon Adams Jr., and I think they're going to steamroll, especially at home, over Saskatchewan. If this game was in Saskatchewan, I'd be all over Saskatchewan plus the points. This team is undefeated on the season, sitting 4-0. Trevor Harris is out of this game, though, and Shea Pedersen coming out here under center. Now, he has looked solid. The defense has been winning Saskatchewan these games. They're able to get those interceptions and those picks. But, Scott, we look at the teams Saskatchewan has faced and the quarterbacks. Those have been mistakes out of those quarterbacks that Saskatchewan's defense has been shining. So I look at Vernon Adams Jr. He's so phenomenally strong. He's averaging 350.8 passing yards per game. It is absolutely insane. I think he's going to have his way here with the Saskatchewan Roughriders defense. Now, I put a same game parlay together in this. I took Vernon Adams Jr. over 332.5 passing yards. That's at minus 114. Vernon Adams Jr. over 2.5 passing touchdowns at plus 112. And then Alexander Hollins over 88.5 receiving yards. Scott, let me ask you. Okay, so that parlay, before I forget, pays. Oh, I've got to find it here. It pays plus. Hang on 1 second. Anyway, I think it was 5-1 to your money. But Scott, guess how much Hollins is for an anytime touchdown? I have to take him for 2+ touchdowns to get value. Where do you think he is for one touchdown? Yeah.
Minus 170 or so?
Minus 210 for an anytime touchdown.
Oh,
are you kidding me?
Crazy.
Minus
I think it was minus 170. That
is
bizarre,
disgusting.
Right?
Yeah. So 2+ touchdowns coming in at plus 280. He has 5 touchdowns on the season. Last week he had one versus Hamilton.
By the way, so it goes from minus 210 for 1 touchdown to plus 280 for 2? Oh, you got to do the 2 then, right?
You got to do it.
Have to.
Right?
Yeah.
And Saskatchewan's going to be all over him today, right? They will be absolutely all over him today. I know that. And a lot of people looking at McInnes here. McInnes had a big game last game for BC as the defense was all over Hollins, but Hollins has to have another big game here. He's the number 1 receiver for a reason. And then there was something else I took interesting. So I took the BC Lions laying the 7.5. Scott, I was telling you in the green room, you can't even fire them up to double digits and get much value. It's like plus 126. So the books are really limiting their risk out there on the BC Lions. You could take the BC Lions, though, for 3+ big plays. Have you ever seen a bet where you can bet teams for the big plays? Because this is the first time I've seen it.
Never.
Okay,
no,
so
I was
this
going to ask you about
fine.
that when you sent over your picks. I've never seen that.
Yeah, so it's defined as a play of 20+ rushing yards or 30+ receiving yards. So we have to have 3 big plays like that over 20 rushing or over 30+ receiving for a receiver. And then that's coming in at it was plus money. I believe it was plus, I've got it here somewhere. I always forget my numbers when I write them down. I think it was plus 155 for that. So you just need the 3 big plays. And we're talking about Vernon Adams Jr., who can move that ball through the air and stand back, their running back, so phenomenally strong. So I'm hoping they have these bets in the CFL or the NFL this year, if I can talk, right? I want these big play bets. They're fun, right? You're just rooting for
I've not seen it. Have you? You said you haven't seen that even in CFL games before today, right? No. So that's kind of weird. Yeah. So, I'm envisioning like maybe the Minnesota Vikings with Justin Jefferson, 30. Exactly. It's funny they make it 20 for rushing, but 30 for receiving. So,
right?
Well, it'll come up with different things, man. It is crazy. But I kind of like it's goofy, but, you can bet on a receiver's longest reception and a quarterback's longest completion, but not like I've never seen team total like this. So 3+
fun.
Yeah. Again, you're going to bet the over, right? All these prop bets, they all kind of slant towards like the mind always says over. I'm not thinking, under, right? You got to have 3 plays. We're not talking like 7 or 8. There's got to be 3 plays of 20 or 30 yards or more, right? And that's the entire. Oh no, it's one team. Okay, it's one team, but still,
right? Oh, sorry, the 3+ big plays plus 250, Scott. It was minus 155 for 2+ big plays. 3+ is plus 250. So you're looking at a quarterback who can sling that ball down with the best of them, best passing yards out of any quarterback out there in the CFL at 350 per game. Yeah, 3+ big plays plus 250. They can all be receiving. They can all be rushing, even if Stanback goes off.
Yeah.
No.
Jeez,
I love
it. No-brainer, right?
Right?
I think they got the lines wrong.
4+ plus 490.
Really?
It's tempting, right?
4's not. Yeah, 30 yards. That's a decent gain, but CFL, especially where you're throwing the football basically every darn down. I'm not going to count too many running backs going for 20+ yards, but quarterback scrambles maybe. I got to take a look at that. Yeah, we'll touch on it again. Game doesn't kick off until 7 o'clock, but we'll take a look at the CFL. I like that. Yeah, very nice. One more thing to bet on come NFL season. We'll kind of get used to it, see how it works for the CFL. All right, we'll continue along here on the grid next.
the WNBA is a unique market, right? It moves a little bit different. You take a bet, a limit play, even if the limit is 2 dimes on a side, you don't go from 11.5 to 12. You know what I mean? You got to go. Because if they bet you the second number, then you go, oh boy, now we have a decision that we really didn't think we got a big decision. Books love decisions.
Game time decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on Sports Grid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. But that's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the Grid. Scott Wetzel and Joe Madden closing out hour number 1. We'll take a look at the baseball board here as we got a number of games underway, including, actually, you know what, we got some finals in from earlier today. Let me take a quick peek and make sure that the Pittsburgh Pirates held on to win. They did. Not only that, and they covered the number. I didn't lay a 1.5, but they were rare road favorites today, but they beat up on the White Sox, who are now, Joe, 2-16 with Chris Flexen. You know, there were two, like, the PP public parlay, or, you know, the trend parlay, I'll say really even more so, was Pittsburgh going against the White Sox with Chris Flexen, who are, you know, the Sox are now 2-16 with him starting this year. And again, today, he pitched well. He only gave up 2 runs over 6 innings, which for him is a godsend, right? So, but they lost the game. And then the other one is Philadelphia against Miami, or against Oakland. Thinking that there's no way in the world Philadelphia is going to lose twice in a row at home to the Oakland A's, right? That's not going to happen. So we'll see how that PP, if you will, turns out. Philadelphia is leading 3-2. But I tell you, the other one, now this is nothing new, but the Mets team, or the Mets total against Colorado today was 8.5 against the lousy Rockies, who stink, yes, but the Mets bullpen is so bad, and they had a guy in Christian Scott on the hill today. He sucks, so the Rockies were more than likely going to score a run or 2 or 3. Mets bats have been on fire. I don't know. We got 4-1 Mets as they play top of the 3rd inning, and that number was 8.5 to start the game. I was all over that. That was just too easy for me. So I watched the Mets game last night. It's not the first Mets game I've watched, but by the way, the over-under now is 10.5. But Mets bullpen nearly blew a 7-2 7th inning lead. Oh, the Mets bullpen is absolutely the worst. One bad pitcher after another. Their closer's a cheater. He stinks anyway. Diaz, oh my goodness. It's a miracle. That team needs 5-run leads in order to win games. I'd like to know how many times the Mets have legitimately led a game by 4 or more runs and ended up winning by 1. I bet it's a ton. It really is.
It really is. So looking at those teams plus whatever it is on the run line looks like a really solid bet in some of these games. I just don't know if I can get there with the Colorado Rockies. I didn't like Feltner coming out here for them. I took him under 16.5 outs. It was minus 120. I also took the Mets team total, Scott, because I didn't know how many runs the Rockies would put on the board. And that's what happened to me in that Pirates and White Sox game today. I had the Yurfie in it, but then I broke even because, except for the juice, I had the over 8.5, and that one hit 8. So I didn't want that to happen in this one here with the Mets. I took their team total over 4.5 runs. It was minus 106. I also took Alonso for that home run. We know he's been killing it with the home runs for the Mets, 18 home runs on the season. He was plus 430 today for that home run. So I need one more run out of the Mets. They better not shut down their offense now and just play a defensive game.
Yeah, I doubt it. Not with their bullpen. There's no lead that's safe. So if they don't score, I don't think it's going to be because they stopped trying. I really don't. I've done that, too, of late. Just because, again, I'm watching the game. My father-in-law is over. He's a big Met fan, right? So we got the game on. And I got the Mets. Fortunately, I was wondering. I kind of forgot. You put so many pieces in. You forget that I lay a run and a half with the Mets. I said, I don't think so. I don't think they were that big of favorites. But, I was a little worried. And then I see a 7-2 lead go to 7-3. And then I see it go to 7-4. Then the dude hits a home run to make it 7-6. Then Diaz comes in the ninth inning. He walks 2 guys. All of a sudden, the Rockies have 2 on, with 2 out, down 1 run. I'm thinking, here comes a 3-run homer. Here it comes, But he got out of it, and I actually didn't lay the run and a half. But they're a tough team to bet. They are a tough man. There is nothing easy for that team. Nothing.
They really are. So right now the Rockies plus 3.5 is plus 120. Is that enough to entice you to take the Rockies plus 3.5 on the run line? Or do you want a 4.5? I almost want a 4.5.
I would. Yeah, I'd wait. Let it get through 6. Get the starting pitcher Scott out of there. Let the bullpen come in. See what kind of lead the Mets have. Mets could be leading 7-1 at that point. Then we'll hop on board as soon as they take the starter out. Even though he's capable of imploding, but I'm going to wait and see how big of a lead the Mets can build tonight before I hop in on Colorado. But I definitely will be betting Colorado, like you said, because there's no lead that's too safe. None. So Stanky's still up 4-0. Got a bunch of other games that have some runs. We'll check those when we come back. Hour number 2 coming up next here on The Grid.
Nashville, help me welcome to the stage the captain of Crushers GC and the 2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau!
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
Nice to at least walk down the last few holes, or at least the last hole, knowing that it was pretty much done. It's never safe, but very proud of everybody, and of course Tiro. I mean, what a week to get his first win in a few years and win by 6 in an absolutely dominant performance the way he did. It was absolutely incredible, so I couldn't be happier for him.
Certainly with not winning for 3.5 years, you kind of naturally question if you can do it again. So I'm just proud of myself to be able to get through that and play the way I did.
It's in-game live, prime time here on The Grid. Hour number 2 of our 4-hour extravaganza. Scott Wetzel, Joe Ben for the next 3 hours. Looking at baseball, little CFL. We got some golf. We got the WNBA to get to. We got same-game parlays. We got Black Clouds coming up. And we got some pitcher props that so far, Joe, with our K-Pops, doing, I don't want to jinx it, but we're doing okay. I'm almost afraid to give the numbers out just because we're not over the hump just yet, but we're closer to getting there than we are, not getting there. I'll say that. So a busy first hour for those new viewers, new listeners. What's on your board today?
So much is on the plate, Scott. I just wanted to note here, the Miami Marlins, Cincinnati Reds off to a lot of runs, 3-3 apiece at the bottom of the third. I didn't expect that many runs so quick in that one. So much I've been looking at here in these games. I have the Mets team total over 4.5. I need one more run out of them, and it's looking nice and promising. A 4-1 game here versus the Colorado Rockies. We talked about this one before going to break. Both of us at some point looking to bet the Rockies on the run line at some point in this game because of the Mets bullpen. So we'll keep you posted on that. It's still bottom of the third. We do have a lot of time before we need to jump in on that. We will be doing that once it hits the bullpen. The Washington Nationals was an interesting one here. I looked at playing the Nats in this one today with a fade of Dallas Keuchel. Now, Dallas Keuchel's actually come out strong here for the Milwaukee Brewers, and we did see him strong for the Dodgers as well. But how long can he keep this up? I just don't trust Dallas Keuchel. Now, pregame, I took him under 15.5 outs, coming in at -102. They're up right now, 5-0. So will he make it into the 6th inning? I don't think so. I need him out of here before that 5th, basically right at the start of the 5th inning. So we'll see, Scott. I don't know. Dallas Keuchel, I can't have that faith in him, even versus the Washington Nationals. He's just not a pitcher I have any faith in. What about you? Do you trust in Dallas Keuchel?
No, I you know what? I didn't really go against him that much today, like I did the first 2 times he pitched. And he didn't get the win. He was one of the guys that, we were looking for one guy who was pitching well. They took him out of the game. If memory serves me right, they took him out against the Dodgers after going 4 2/3. The poor guy was like an out away, and he had a 2 or 3 run lead, and they took him out of the game. And then the bullpen guy came in and gave up like a 2-run homer. So I would think you're pretty good with that number, because even when he pitched well, he didn't go that far. So, but we'll see how long they keep him. But if I'm not fading him, I'm certainly not betting on him. That's for sure. It's funny. I bet on Milwaukee yesterday and they lost, and I saw the score, a little while ago, 5-0 Brewers, and I said, I didn't bet on Milwaukee today. Well, why not? Because I love, going back on teams I lost with, and I generally think of teams as series-wise. And then I realized, oh, that's right, because Dallas Keuchel was pitching today for Milwaukee. So that's why I did. And it's the one time I always tell myself, I try not to let the pitchers influence. If I like a team in a series, I don't care who's pitching. I like Milwaukee. They're 10 times better than Washington, which has been struggling of late. But so one of the times I do, it's with Keuchel on the hill, right? And lo and behold, he's pitching a shutout, and they're winning 5-0. So
he's definitely worth a fade out there. You know what's interesting? I took Altuve here versus Nathan Eovaldi for the home run. Altuve is coming in at plus 520 for the home run for the Houston Astros versus Eovaldi here for the Texas Rangers, because we've actually seen Altuve hit him nice and hard. He's been up 48 times versus him. He's had 15 hits and 7 home runs, 7 RBIs. So I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed in this matchup, he can get a nice home run if he can still jump on it. This game right now is sitting 1-1 apiece. We are the bottom of the fourth, but it could come off the bullpen as well. I didn't just take it off of Eovaldi, but I think Altuve has the ability to do so in this one. Did you have any home run props in any of the games going on right now, Scott?
No, I tell you, I've had a lot of success, and I said this on the podcast. If you're not part of the podcast, you really should be. The lack of success we had with shots on goal because the boys in Vegas they got a little too smart for us, and then they upped the odds and everything else. But we are still having success with the strikeout props. So I don't really venture. I dabbled a little bit in stolen bases, but there's just not that many. They don't give you the odds on what they should give you for the few stolen bases that a player gets. So I dabbled in that a little bit, broke even, then I said, I'm getting out of that. So back to the strikeouts. So no home run props for me. The same thing, with the stolen bases, Joe. I don't think they give you the right odds. A guy will have 15, maybe 20 home runs, and they're only going to give you plus 250 odds when he doesn't get one home run every other game like those odds would indicate, or every other every third game. He's getting them every fifth game. So it just I don't, to tell you the truth. Every once in a while, I'll throw in an Aaron Judge or an Ohtani or something, but generally speaking, I don't.
Yeah, it's hard when they're not giving us enough value. Like, you look at Aaron Judge, and you're going to have to get – it's only plus like 170, plus 180 in a lot of those matchups for him to be able to get the home run. So I like the value with Altuve. It was plus five and change for him in this game. Yeah. Right. I'll look at batters like that have been able to give us like great plus money. Cause then you hit, 1 out of 4 and you're making money, right? 1 out of 4, probably making money there. Yeah. So can the Kansas City Royals come back versus your Boston Red Sox? Down 0-4 right now. Top of the fourth.
Well, I hope not. But if they do, I hope Lugo gets one more strikeout. Ooh, you know what? He's got, I need one more. So strikeouts that we gave out, Joe. Gave out Seth Lugo over 5.5. He's got 5 through 4 innings. So, and not actually through 3, really, because the Red Sox are now batting in the bottom of the fourth. So he's going to be out there pitching. So I'd like to think we're going to get one more out of Lugo. That would be a winner. Gave out over Tyler Phillips, Philadelphia, 4.5. That's already a winner. He's got 5. Cha-ching. Gave out over 5.5 Andrew Abbott, Cincinnati, and he has, hold on a second. He's got 4. Not bad.
Okay.
In a 3-3 game. Actually, 4-3 game. Gave out Edward Cabrera for the Marlins at 6.5. He's got 6. He's still going to be in that game through 4 innings, top of the fourth. So, and then we got under 5.5 Nathan Eovaldi, and he has 2 as they play top of the 5th inning. Let me see how many pitches
that's what we need to hear.
Yeah. So hopefully we got a nice big fat number on him pitching wise. Let me see. Eovaldi, top 5. He's got 60 or so. Any kind of luck? 50. But all right. I'll take 2 through 4. That's not that many.
Do I dare ask what Grayson Rodriguez is at right now?
Let's see. Let's see if he's still in the game. Still 4-0. He's got 6. You had the over or the under? You had the under.
I had the under 5.5 at plus 126. We needed him out earlier. Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
I live with that. I went for the plus money there. I got a little greedy.
Yeah. It's all right. You got to do that every once in a while. It makes sense. You said it. His numbers weren't good against the Stanks as far as strikeouts were concerned. So.
Yeah, and he gave up all those runs.
He's got 72 pitches, too.
Yeah.
It's too bad I didn't think about sooner. Got a wild pitch. He had one bad inning. The first inning was his bad inning. That's when he gave up the 4 runs. So, but anyway, keep your fingers crossed. We're looking pretty good with all those strikeout props. So that would be nice. 4-1 Metsies over the Rockies, and the Rockies have a runner on second base, no out. Oh, yeah, this game is long from being over, Joe. You'll get your 4.5 runs from the Mets. No two ways about that. All right, more coming up in Game Live Prime Time.
The WNBA is a unique market, right? It moves a little bit different. You take a bet, a limit play, even if the limit is 2 dimes on a side, you don't go from 11.5 to 12. You know what I mean? You got to go. Because if they bet you the second number, then you go, oh boy, now we have a decision that we really didn't think we got a big decision. Books love decisions.
Game time decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds? Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on Sports Grid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. But that's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome in. It's In-Game Live, prime time here on the Grid as we move along. Scott Wetzel, Joe Madden, hour number 2. We got a little SGP action here with Cincinnati, Joe. Let me, haven't checked that lately. I gave out the Reds. They're leading 4-3, but that thing is long from being over as they're only in the 4th and they're going back and forth, getting a ton of runs scored. Reds over 4.5. What I say the score was 4-3, so that's looking pretty good. Cabrera 6 strikeouts or more. He has 6. Okay. Mark that one off the board. Thank you very much. And we got Dela Cruz to score a run. He has a home run, so he's got that. We got Dela Cruz to get 2 bases. He clearly has that thanks to the home run. So, you know, all I need to hit this little 666, 667, 6.5 to 1, we'll just say. Parlay is the Reds winning and over 4.5 runs, and they got 4 runs. So as soon as I get that 5th run, now I can hedge. And now I got a 6-to-1 ticket, 6.5 to 1 ticket on one side, and then I can hedge, you know, as much as I want basically with Miami on the other side. So
now,
that's looking pretty good.
Would you hedge it or would you cash out if they're giving you a cash out on it, Scott?
You know, they don't, you know, sometimes they give you a little more, but not often. If you really dissect it down, you could cash out, you could hedge easier, especially if it's an underdog. So in this case, Miami would be, because Cincinnati would be winning, theoretically, as they are now. Let's just say it's 5-3. I'm not sure how much they would give me on the bet, but I know I could bet Miami money line at that point, probably 5-1, 6-1. I don't know if they would. So I could bet, let's just say I bet $100 to win 667, right? And we hit all the other ones except for Miami, except for Cincinnati to win. I could take $100 and bet Miami at plus 550, which means I would net 550 if that was a loser. I don't know as a cash out, if this makes any sense. I know this is complicated. I don't know as a cash out, they would offer me $550 rather than the $650 if I hold out. They'd probably offer me about $350, maybe $400.
Yep.
Even if that, they might not even offer that at 5-3. So sometimes it's just easier to just hedge on your own than cash out.
Yeah, that makes sense because I know I've looked a couple of times at some parlays and I've been like, that's all they want to give me to cash out. And then I just let it ride, right? Because it's not worth it in a lot of those cases. And I guess they're hoping for people to just say, okay, it's not worth it and let it ride. And they're hoping that the parlay doesn't cash because we know how hard it is, especially 5-leg parlays like you got rolling in this one. Cincinnati, though, is still up 4-3. Everything's locked right now. So we'll see what happens. I'm seeing runners on first and third for the Miami Marlins at the top of the fourth with 2 outs, Scott. So just holding my breath here a little bit for you on this.
All right. Yeah, long ways to go on this one. We're only in the 4th inning. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get the 5 runs out of Cincinnati. So now it's just 4-3, I see. All right, so Miami scored at least on 1 run. I don't know if there was a sac fly or ground out. Hopefully we got at least 2 outs there. So Baltimore scored 4-1 now. They trail. I get a feeling we're going to get some runs today. I don't think there's going to be too many unders today. I don't know if I'd be betting too many unders. I get a sense summer July heat, the ball is flying. Pitchers wearing down easily. I think I would stay away from unders. Philadelphia scored 2 more, 6-2 now over Oakland. That's looking pretty good. That
total, yeah. That total 12.5. I love to the over. The books do too, though. It's minus 140 to the over, Scott. There's not enough value, is there? For me, it's not. It's right on the edge.
Yeah, it's a lot of runs. It's still 5 runs.
Yeah.
You know, in a semi-blowout game, but the Philly bats. But nothing kind of jumps off the page, especially laying $140. I wouldn't do that. We need to run out of the Metsies here.
Yeah, and that's the game I prefer the over in. You look at that one, over 9.5 at plus 114. I like that because I do think the Mets can still get the runs on Feltner here. And I think once it goes over to the Mets bullpen, well, the bullpen's been pretty solid as of late, right? It hasn't been as bad as we saw in a couple of stretches during the season, but the Mets can continue to get the runs on the Rockies bullpen. 9.5 to the over plus 116. Is that tempting for you, Scott, or is that a stay off?
No, I'll do that. I put it in at 6.5 because they didn't score any runs in the first inning, and it went all the way down to 6.5. And then I put it in at 7.5 when it looked like the Mets were threatening, and they ended up scoring 4 in the second. So I'm going to basically roll over those profits, even though I'm yet to win. And then I'll do it one more time over 9.5. Because they're only in the 4th inning. You got 5 runs. You'll get 5 more runs. I think you'll get 5 more runs anyway. I wouldn't have any problem with that. Definitely. Brewers 5-0 over the Nationals. Got 2 on, bottom of the 3rd inning. 10.5 is that number. Can Dallas Keuchel continue to throw shutout baseball? I don't know about that.
I don't think so. I would bet no.
Royals.
Yeah.
The Marlins just put 3 on the board. We kiss the death of that. I shouldn't have brought up the same game parlay. 5-4. Someone must have hit a 3-run homer or a 2-run homer. I guess it was 4-3. So
tons of time in this game, Scott. Not even a panic right now. Because look at the Cincinnati Reds. So I think if you don't have a bet in this one, taking Cincy right now plus 122 is fantastic. They were large favorites coming into this one, right? They're the stronger team here. Miami, I don't trust them. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's actually, again, we got it in the same game parlay because obviously if Cincinnati were going to win, they're going to go over 4.5 runs. So we don't necessarily have to make that bet. But if I didn't have a dog in the fight, I would absolutely take Cincinnati plus 122. This is the 4th inning of a 5-4 game. This is a long ways to go. So that's actually a halfway decent bet. I got a feeling back and forth those two teams are going to go. So Tampa Bay and Cleveland, interesting betting opportunity. We'll get to that when we come back. In-game live, prime time on a Saturday here on the Grid.
The WNBA is a unique market, right? It moves a little bit different. You take a bet, a limit play, even if the limit is 2 dimes on a side, you don't go from 11.5 to 12. You know what I mean? You got to go. Because if they bet you the second number, then you go, oh boy, now we have a decision that we really didn't think we got a big decision. Books love decisions.
Game time decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on Sports Grid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. That's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line. Only.
Welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the Grid. 22, check that, 24 past the hour. Scott Wetzel and Joe Madden. As we look at some baseball stuff here, as we got a few more runs being scored across the board. Trey Turner hit another home run. He got 7 in his last 10 games. Those were the runs for the Phillies, 6-2. Stanky's added a run, 5-1. I'm sitting on the under 8.5, and I was at a position where I would almost hedge. It got down to 9.5. Now it's back up to 10.5, and that's I got a feeling we're gonna get some more runs there. Although I tell you, this Orioles team, boy, shut out twice, Joe, by the Cubbies. Stanky shut them down last night. They're doing the same so far tonight. We might not get 9 runs in this game. See, the Mets are threatening with 2 on bottom of the 4th, up 4-1. Need one more run in that one. At least one more, anyway. So,
should get it here.
But, yeah. Keyword should.
Should.
That's the keyword. You know what? I didn't put the bet. Such a dope, right? So, we last left you. I said that there's an interesting situation with Tampa Bay and Cleveland. And they were giving us the Indians plus 170, in the top of the 5th inning. I mean, again, you got the whole game left, right? Yeah, they scored. Did I put it in? No, I don't know why. I got distracted. I figured I'd just do it during the show. They scored a run. They tied it at 1. Game's back down to pick 'em. Fudge. And it's locked, which means maybe they scored again.
And what were you getting at before? Plus 102?
170.
Plus 170
it was. Yeah.
Oof, that hurts to miss out on that.
I know.
It really does.
That's a nice
We'll
fat
see.
number.
Yeah. We'll see what happens here, though. Like, everything is locked. I'm showing 1-1. I'm seeing a runner still on first here for the Cleveland Guardians. Are you seeing the same?
Yep.
And 2 outs. Okay.
But it's
okay.
It's locked, so something's got to be going on, right? If it's locked, I would think.
Yeah.
All right.
How's Seth Lugo doing? Seth Lugo still in the game here as we're at the bottom of the 5th. The Boston Red Sox are up 5-0 in this one, but I do expect the Kansas City Royals at some point to get back into this game. They're plus 4.5 right now, plus 130. I think that's value. Lots of value.
Lugo with his 6th strikeout. Cha-ching,
there we
cha-ching.
go.
Winner, winner. All right, we are officially 2-0 with our 5 strikeout props. We went with Lugo over 5.5. He has 6, despite him losing. We hit with Tyler Phillips over 4.5 for the Phillies. He got 5, at least 5. Stop checking. That's a winner. Cabrera, we need 1 more out of Cabrera, and then we need a couple of more out of Abbott. And I get a feeling with all those runs coming that we're going to be hard. Oh, look at that. Cabrera's got 7. Oh, this is too easy. It's like taking candy from a baby. Oh, cha-ching, cha-ching. All right, now we're 3-0. Put a little winner next to that.
Back-to-back home runs in the Yankees game. I'll give you guesses who the 2 to get those home runs are. Back-to-back.
Not Judge and Soto. Please don't tell me that.
Absolutely. Judge and Soto, back-to-back home runs. 6-1 right now for the Yankees.
The Needles are out in the Yankee locker room tonight, huh? That's for darn sure. All right. Let me see. The only thing that could help me, not worry about that is if Abbott got 2 more strikeouts. Yeah, he didn't. He finished with 4. All right, can't win.
Oh, and they took him out.
Yeah. I tell you, that's amazing. This guy has been absolutely on fire. 3-0. His last 3 starts with 1.47 ERA. And he stunk today against the lousy Miami Marlins. So, all right, so back-to-back homers for the Stanks, huh? What's it now, 6-1, 7-1?
6-1 right now. That total's jumped up to 11.5, and you're getting plus 102 to the over, minus 132 to the under. I can't believe they did back-to-back home runs. Grayson Rodriguez, how much longer are they going to leave him out there?
Well, that's where I was going to go, Joe. I can't believe they're leaving him out there, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
can't.
Man.
2 home runs in a row? You can't give that up and stay in the game. And who just made 2 bases? Someone just ran 2 bases there for the Yankees.
Ben Rice. Rice would be up next.
Rich Torres.
Oh, okay. Wow, he actually got a hit. How about that?
Wow.
Wow. All right. Not good. Not good if you're a Red Sox fan. All right, more coming up.
Yeah.
I think. There we go.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire. only on Sports Grid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on Sports Grid.
Welcome back In-Game Live, prime time here on the Grid on a Saturday afternoon / early evening here on the East Coast. Scott Wetzel and Joe Madden until 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll put the baseball and WNBA and then in golf aside. But as we mentioned at the top of the show, got a full slate here, including some UFC action. So who better to bring on to discuss the men fighting in the ring, and maybe some ladies as well, for that matter. Lou Finicaro, Gamble Lou, joins us from time to time. Check out his website, GambleLou.com. Host About Business podcast as well. What's up, Louie? How are you tonight?
I'm looking forward to a great weekend of fights. I appreciate you both having me on. And it's the dog days of summer, and the UFC gets a little spotlight, so we're happy about that.
I think we lost Joe.
Yep.
We can't hear Joe there. All right, so we'll fix that with Joe. Oh,
sorry, guys, that was on me. I had muted myself, and I have no idea why. So I was just asking Lou, the altitude here in Denver, are you weighing that into account for any of these fighters?
Great question, Joe. It's foundational to what my plan is on today's card.
All right, who do you like tonight? Where do you want to start? The top or at the bottom? Prelims or right the main card?
Well, the main event is Rose Namajunas, who's from Denver. So that sets the table and really explains how I look at not only this fight, but others as well. She is a former champion that was due to fight another fighter. The other fighter was a big, strong, tall striker that was plenty mean. And so that fight falls out, and they have to get Rose another opponent. The other opponent is Miss Cortez from Phoenix. I live here in Phoenix. She's from a wrestling family here. She's a really bright, up-and-coming young mixed martial artist, but she's primarily wrestling-based. She's still learning the intricacies of striking and most especially strike defense. And so she's due to fight next week another short, very sawed-off wrestling-based fighter. So on short notice, Cortez drops the fight next week, decides to go to Denver from Phoenix to altitude in 3 or 4 days, take a short notice fight, accelerate her weight cut. It's just unfortunate that she has so many hurdles to overcome before she even gets in the cage, that the spot is very, very poor for her. This fight opened close to a pick, which I believe was mispriced. Rose is a legitimate favorite here, despite the fact she's fighting up a weight class and Cortez could be a little bit larger.
Now, Lou, I want to ask you, what do you think of Rose winning this within the distance and this one not going the distance then? On FanDuel, that's coming in at plus 192 with Cortez's altitude issues here, as well as taking this fight late against a fighter that she hasn't been preparing for.
Yeah, I don't think many are looking at it like that. I think they're just assuming Rose in a decision, and I wouldn't assume. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. And that wrestling of Cortez is high output. If she struggles for 2 rounds and Rose drags this into the late third, fourth round, Cortez could run out of gas. She just hasn't had an ample time to prepare for this situation at this altitude, and again at this such a great step up in level of opponent. So I definitely think that if you're going to try and bet something like that, or you want the total, I would say that the fight does not go the distance. I would say Rose either inside the distance, because that's how I tend to bet, a little more safe. If you want to get specific, via the submission, I think is, plus 500 or 600. And so you could get a decent return on that. I just don't go that long.
Louis, this has happened before in UFC, where a guy comes in, gal comes in out of the blue. Have you kind of kept track of that, and have you noticed any kind of trend on how successful or unsuccessful those new fighters are?
That is tracked. I don't track it. I can tell you that the success rate, I'm going to guess, would be in the low 30s, and I've got my thumb on the scale a little bit. It's a very, very difficult test. As well, the UFC is diluted somewhat in the last few years from its Contender Series. That said, the young athletes coming in to debut are way more equipped now than they were, say, 5 years ago. So it kind of works both ways. I would say it's really tough on the debuter. It's really tough or more tough on the short notice fighter. Usually the short notice fighter, Scott, will endear themselves to the business people at the UFC and get future considerations.
Yeah, always nice that they are able to do that for them, especially when they step up and fill that space that is so needed out there. Do you have anything in the Drew Dober fight versus Gene Silva?
That's a fight on the main card, and it's being competed at 155 pounds. And this is another fighter, Dober, who fights out of Team Elevation in Denver. So he's had a full camp for a fight. His original opponent dropped out. They asked 5 legitimate lightweights to take the fight against him in Denver. None of them would take it. And then they found this young man, Gene Silva. Now, Gene Silva is a 145-pound fighter. He fought 2 weeks ago and missed weight. I believe his missing weight has a little bit to do with the penalty he's now being served, even though it's in the form of a future potential fight. Gene Silva cut weight, missed the weight, had a fight, went out, probably had a couple sarsaparillas, at least a good steak and a potato, and now on 2 weeks has to turn around, fly across the country again, and go to Elevation in Denver and fight a guy up a weight class that's had a full camp that's been at Elevation. And Dober opened a minus 160 or so, and the money came in on John Silva, and rightfully so. He has tremendous power, but he fights a weight class down, and he's stepping way up in opponent. Drew Dober's been in with the elite, the current champion. This is another fight very well set up for the local Denver athlete.
Why do you think the line's dropping now? Because that's a pretty big drop, Lou, right? 160 to minus 102 now in FanDuel.
That's nothing. The UFC is an extremely volatile market this time of year because there's so many in here betting this stuff now that don't do it usually. There's nothing to bet right now. They don't like baseball. They're trying UFC, and we're seeing great volatility. It'll settle down when football starts.
Now, Lou, what do you think of Dober here for the KO or TKO? That's coming in at plus 200. And if you don't like that, what else are you looking at on this main card?
Well, I would say if you look at Dober, it's logical that the winner of the Dober-Gene fight wins via KO or TKO. So I would, if you like the Brazilian, take him that way. If you like Dober, take him that way. Now, I'll address you both. On the next one is a young Canadian gal named Jasmine, and I'm going to try my best on the last name, Jasudavicius. I'm going to call her Jasmine. She was preparing for a fight, had a short notice replacement as well. And she and a teammate came down to Denver 3 weeks early. She just came with the teammate. The teammate fell out. As a result, Jasmine has not only had a full camp, she's had 3 weeks to train at altitude for this fight. She now gets a replacement fighter that was not in the UFC until this fight. She fights a weight division down at 115. She ships in from New Jersey on 3 days. The story sounds the same, but it's also spelling advantage for Jasmine, who opened minus 275. She's now maybe minus 135 or so, and she's a bargain at that price based on her size and experience.
Luke, great job as always, my friend. Do appreciate it, and I'm sure he's got thoughts on all the other fights tonight. Go to his website, GambleLou.com. That's GAMBLOU. No E in there. GambleLou.com, and check out his podcast, Bout Business Podcast. Louis, good job, and let's get some winners tonight.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on Sports Grid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on Sports Grid.
Welcome back to In Game Live Primetime. Myself, Joe Madden, and Scott Wetzel here with you until 8 p.m. Eastern. Now, we cash Dallas Keuchel. The fade of Dallas Keuchel continues to cash for us here. Under 15.5 outs. He only came out for 3 innings, and he was doing fantastic here versus the Washington Nationals. I'm not sure why they're having such a short leash on Dallas Keuchel, but I tell you, the next time he comes out, definitely something to look at. As the Milwaukee Brewers up 5-3 currently over the Washington Nationals. Couple of games that we've seen some teams that were the underdogs coming back in these games. We were looking to fade the Mets once this went over to the bullpen, and it is in the bullpen right now, but too late to jump on it. The Colorado Rockies were down. I believe you could grab them plus 3.5 before we had Lou on in the last segment. They have been able to put some runs on the board. We have a tight matchup now between the New York Mets and the Colorado Rockies, 4-3. Scott, I tell you, we knew that this one was coming with the bullpen of the Mets. I just didn't think it was going to come so soon. So 4-3 lead for the New York Mets right now. If you want to take the Rockies to come all the way back in this game, obviously got some momentum here. They do have runners on first and second with only 1 out. Buto is up here pitching for the New York Mets. You can grab the Rockies at plus 200. I don't hate it, you guys. I loved it even more when you could grab them plus 3.5 on that run line. We're just too late to get it. And we're seeing Philly, the Philadelphia Phillies still up 6-2 over the Oakland A's. I don't think the A's are coming back. This is the bottom of the 6 here in this one. I did have a little bit of faith in Oakland after what we saw yesterday. Oakland able to record that win over the Phillies. But right now, 4.5 is that run line, plus 4.5 coming in at minus 144. Just not enough value for me there. And we continue to see the New York Yankees holding that lead 6-1 over the Baltimore Orioles. Now, if you're looking at this game, there is a total of 10.5. Scott, I know you're riding on the under 8.5 in this one. I do think we're going to continue to see the runs in this. We're seeing right now we're at the bottom of the 6. There is a runner on first for the New York Yankees. I think they continue to put these runs up. The 4.5, the problem with that run line is it's too highly juiced. It's coming in at minus 156 at the moment. So I just can't jump on that number. But I do think the Yankees cover that. If the Baltimore Orioles are able to do something in the next inning, put another run up, and we'll see less juice there on the Yankees, I would be looking at that. I think another way you could look at that, we already have 7 runs, and I expect the Yankees to get some more. The over 10.5 is coming in at minus 114. The only problem with that is, I know, Scott, you're writing the under, so if that cashes, we're going to see if that cashes, well, the over doesn't cash, but I'm liking the over right now. Same with the Oakland A's and the Phillies. I do think that one has the opportunity of going over 10.5 runs at minus 110. I don't think the Phillies are done in this game. Alexander out here pitching for the Oakland A's in this 6-2 lead for the Phillies. So the 10.5 to the over coming in at minus 108 at the moment. We have made it to the middle of the 5th. The Mets, they're lucky the Colorado Rockies didn't bring their runners home. They had a runner on second going here to the middle of the 5th. If you like the Mets right now, you'd have to lay that 1.5 on the run line. They're coming in at minus 130, but I tell you, there's something about the Rockies right now. Now that we're over to the Mets bullpen, I really do think the Rockies have the opportunity to keep this one tight. The Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers. This is a pitcher's duel out there. We are at the top of the 7th. It has turned over to the bullpen. This game's still sitting 1-1 apiece. Now, I can't remember what Scott had coming into this. The Houston Astros coming in here at home. Originally, I'm just trying to find those original numbers on where they were. They were coming in at plus 100, and we had Eovaldi coming out for the Texas Rangers. Now, he came out nice and strong. I took Altuve in this for the home run. Obviously, not cashing yet. This game is sitting at 1-1 apiece. Both of these pitchers that got the start, we have seen, them have their struggles in their position they're in today. The Texas Rangers with Eovaldi, 6-3 on the season with a 3.10 ERA, but he came out nice and strong. That road ERA has gone over a 5 this season for him. So I'm really impressed with what we saw out of him in this one. Looking at the live numbers, we have a total of 5.5, which is really interesting because we got a 1-1 game at the top of the 7th. The ability for this one to go over extra innings is so high in this that I wouldn't take it to the under, because as soon as we get that ghost runner, and I know you look at this, you're like 1-1. Why are they giving us a 5.5? That's exactly why we get those ghost runners out with extra innings here. I wouldn't trust it to the under 5.5, especially how both of these teams can hit that ball. So I'm going to take a little bit of shot on the over 5.5. That is coming in at minus 106. I think they have every ability to go over the 5.5 runs if we get to extra innings. King is pitching right now for the Houston Astros. And I tell you, there's just something about these teams that I know how hot these bats can be. The Cleveland Guardians and the Tampa Bay Rays. We're at the top of the 6 here. We do have a runner on second for the Tampa Bay Rays. Smith is pitching for the Cleveland Guardians, and this game is tied up 2-2 apiece. Now, the Cleveland Guardians, I know Scott was hoping to jump on them earlier and lost the best of the line. They're coming in right now, you guys, at plus 186, and I think there is value on the Cleveland Guardians here over the Tampa Bay Rays. So we'll see. The Tampa Bay Rays do have a runner on second at the moment. That live total is 7.5 at plus 106 to the over. Give me the over in this one. I do think there's going to be some more runs coming in this game. Like I said, with that total with the Rangers and the Astros, 5.5 because of extra innings. This is a tight battle between these two. We could go to extra innings in this one as well. So the over 7.5 between the Cleveland Guardians and the Tampa Bay Rays right now at plus 128 as we sit here at the top of the six with the runner on second for the Tampa Bay Rays. If you like Tampa, they're two juice, they're minus 190. If you like the Cleveland Guardians, they're coming in at plus 146. You guys, we're just coming up a bit of a break here. We'll be back in the next couple minutes. Don't go anywhere. In-game live prime time here on the Grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played two matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on Sports Grid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds? Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on Sports Grid.
Welcome back to In-Game Live Prime Time. Scott Wetzel and myself here for the next couple hours, just finishing up hour number 2 right now, and it's time to talk some more CFL. Now, we're already week 6 of the CFL. It's hard to believe how fast this is going by. Before we know it, the Grey Cup will be here, and there's a couple teams that are really struggling this season. One of them being the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, they did beat the Calgary Stampeders yesterday, but Calgary able to cover that spread. That spread was 5.5, and Calgary lost that in a 37-41 game, one that was back and forth, so high scoring. Thursday's game, we saw Toronto beat Montreal. Now, this one was one that they were hungry for, as Montreal had already beat them on the season. They came out and put up so many points, 37 points on the Montreal Alouettes. This has been a defense that hasn't been that vulnerable on the season. So we've seen a couple of upsets here. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I'm proud of them for how they played in that game. This is a team that's been absolutely struggling out there. So it was good to see them be able to get the win. It hurt a little because it was my Calgary Stampeders, but I didn't have faith in Calgary. They played 2 games, big games out there on the road. They need to settle down and they need to get back home. But we do have a game tonight. The Saskatchewan Roughriders taking on the BC Lions. And looking at this matchup, it's easy to see why a lot of people would be riding on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Looking at this team, they're sitting undefeated on the season, 4-0. They're coming off a big win versus the Argos. They won that one 30-23. Their defense has been playing absolutely phenomenal. When you look at the numbers, when you look at the amount of interceptions, the picks they've been able to get out there, the first thing you think of is how strong Saskatchewan is defensively, but they haven't faced a quarterback like Vernon Adams Jr. of the BC Lions that they're going to face today. And I do think as long as he plays a mistake-proof game, that the BC Lions can come out and win and cover. Now, when we look at the lines, the BC Lions are laying 7.5 in this one. We have a total of 51.5, and I do think it has the ability for BC to go over their team total. I don't know if I'd take the full game over because Travis Harris isn't in for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We are seeing Shea Patterson in. Now, he played versus Toronto. He was able to put one passing touchdown up on the board, 192 yards, and he does have a solid arm. BC's defense has been a little bit vulnerable over the course of the season. Like I said, we're sitting here at week 6. I'm undetermined on how I think this defense will come out today. So instead of taking the full total, I would look at the BC Lions team total in this one. I wouldn't be shocked if Saskatchewan was able to help push us to the over, but I think the majority of the points are coming from the BC Lions. So as playing around with a couple of things in this game, looking for the BC Lions to come out and cover that spread. As soon as I believe in a team as much as I believe in the BC Lions today, I try to ult up those numbers. I love firing up those numbers, but the books are really limiting the risk in this one here today with the BC Lions. The 7.5, if you lay that, that's coming in at -110. If you take this up to double digits where they're laying 10.5, they're only giving you +126. For myself, that's not enough value to take it all the way up to double digits. So I will stay off that. I don't blame you if you jump in on that. You are getting plus money. You are getting 30 points more, but for me, it's not worth it to go that high. Now, Vernon Adams Jr. is averaging 350 passing yards per game. His number, it seems so high when you look at his passing yards, over 332.5 passing yards. It's at -114. I think it will hit in this game. I think he has those huge plays. Last week, he had 4 passing touchdowns. Today, over 2.5 passing touchdowns coming in at +112. We saw the same number last week. He was able to hit 4, and I think he does in this one. Now, who's he going to get that ball to? A lot of people expecting McInnes to come out nice and strong in this game. And I don't question them for taking him. I do think he has the ability to come out strong. But the number one wide receiver here is Hollins for Vernon Adams Jr. So I think Hollins finds the ability to get that separation from the defense of the Saskatchewan Roughriders in this game. I'm going to take Hollins over 88.5 receiving yards. And then a play that I found over on FanDuel that I'm so excited for, and I really hope they carry this into the NFL, is the big plays. So over 3+ big plays in this game is coming in at +250. And that means a running back has to go 20+ rushing yards, or a receiver has to go 30+ receiving yards. And we need 3 of those for it to cash. With a quarterback like Vernon Adams Jr., I have all the faith in the world for them to be able to go over these numbers in this one today. So that's your CFL slate for tonight. We'll be back in the next couple of minutes. Dave Rogers is going to be joining us to talk some MLB, you guys. Don't go anywhere.